Venato, where you at? All right, Venato, let's have another round of epic poetry. Get up for Venato.
Howdy, everybody. So I have been composing a poem called "The Life of Robin Hood," and it is a novel in verse. So I've already done chapters 1 through 8, and you guys have missed it. So sorry about that. You guys are getting dropped in right in the middle of chapter 9. In this part of the book, Robin is about 16 years old, and and this chapter is called "The Golden Arrow." Chapter 9, "The Golden Arrow." When we last left our hero, Robin was at Nottingham Fair. He watched his cousin Geoffrey win a jousting tournament with help from Robin's squire, Will Stutely. Geoffrey's prize was a golden cup and a leafy crown, and he gave the crown to the sheriff's daughter, Rita. Meanwhile, Robin saw a girl sitting across from him whom he found very attractive, and decided that if he wins the archery contest, he will give his prize to her. We pick up the story as Robin prepares to compete. Will Stutely came back, saying, "Geoffrey thanks thee for my aid. He says to wait for him tonight beside the city gate, and bids thee take the steeds of those against whom he competed. For in these games the victor earns the spoils of the defeated." Then Robin said, "I thank him for these prizes, which I'll take." He hoped this was the answer that the knight would have him make. "Now tell the heralds I shall shoot to win the archer's prize." As Will obeyed him, Robin scanned the grandstands with his eyes. The sheriff's daughter, Rita, proudly wore her leafy crown. Across from her, the black-haired girl still bore a jealous frown. Soon Robin's name was called. The heralds bade him take the ring. "Go forth," said Warrenton, "thy bow and quiver I shall bring." Then Robin, Will, and Warrenton traversed across the field to where the other archers brought the weapons they would wield. And when they spotted Robin with his funny homemade hood, they smiled and wondered who he was and gossiped as they stood. Then Robin strung his bow and slipped an arrow on its twine. The crowd began to quiet down, and Robin calmed his mind. As he was first to shoot, he drew his bowstring and released. "A bullseye!" roared the crowd, and once again the din increased. "A pretty shot, my lord," the archer next to him intoned. "Thy bow is better than before. Say, Robin, is it loaned?" The man was Will of Cloudsley, in disguise with horsehair beard. His features were defiant, but his voice was full of cheer. His turn was next. With graceful poise he aimed and took his shot. His arrow landed next to Robin's in the central spot. The score was even now. The mob was wild with cheers and zest. So Robin and the robber stood apart from all the rest. The first round of the contest went apace, and when it ceased, a score of archers matched their aim, and so the range increased. The markers told the heralds who announced the second round, and Robin tried his best to disregard the growing sound. He notched his bowstring quietly and confidently drew, then aimed and let his arrow fly, which whistled as it flew. "Another perfect shot for Locksley!" came the herald's cry. "The hooded lad!" became the crowd's reply. But Will the bandit didn't seem concerned. He aimed once more and struck the center fair and square and evened up the score. The other athletes followed suit. Most manfully they strived, but in the end the ones who matched their aim were only 5. The range increased again, and truly now the shot was long. The painted marks looked tiny to the marksmen and the throng. Then Robin took his stance again, but had misgivings now. A fitful breeze was blowing, and the sun was in a cloud. His eyes half anxiously arose to that Fitzwalter maid. His heart rate jumped, he met her gaze, and then was unafraid. He grabbed an arrow from his quiver, slung across his back, by chance the one that struck him when the bandit men attacked. He drew his cord and let it go, and swift the arrow sped. Again he gained the center, and heard cheering overhead. "Now, Master Roughbeard, better that," said Warrenton with glee. The outlaw notched his longbow as he grimaced scornfully. He drew his bow with confidence and let his arrow fly. It rushed upon its distant target, singing through the sky. The watchers traced its course, but when it thudded on the wood, it landed slightly off. His shot was clearly not as good. The wind had borne his arrow just astray. The robber grumbled. Such chances come to all, by which the best of men are humbled. But Will was vexed, for he had wished to take the sheriff's prize, to shatter it and send it back in pieces to his eyes. "Be not too proud in victory, young Robin," said the thief. "The wind may mar thee next, for she brings every archer grief." "'Tis probable enough, my friend," said Robin in reply, "but much I hope the sheriff's golden arrow may be mine. Be this our second contest, Master Will," he lowly added. The outlaw smiled at Robin's grace. He added lowly. The outlaw smiled at Robin's grace. His anger left him slowly. At last he said, "Then I commend thy victory, young man. I'm fairly beat. I should have felt the wind and stayed my hand." With Will of Cloudsley beat, the competition ended soon, and heralds cried that Robin Locksley earned the sheriff's boon. Then shyly he approached the sheriff's seat to claim his prize. The sheriff said, "The rough-beard man deserves a second try. The breezes were against him. Try to match his aim again." An angry answer rose from Robin's haughty bosom then. He bit his tongue and turned around and took the ring once more, to where the other archers still were huddled as before. He made them know the sheriff's wish, which made the bandit mad. He shouted loudly, "I was beaten fairly by this lad. If now the sheriff trots out such conditions, leave me be. Such rules are not for Roughbeard, nor, young man, I hope for thee." The crowd began protesting too. A chanted cry was heard. "The hooded lad," was once again their word. The sheriff saw his judgment raised a storm among the crowd. At last he bade the heralds call the victor's name aloud. "The golden arrow goes to Robin Locksley," came their cry, and Roughbeard said to Robin, "Go ahead and take thy prize, but when he hands it over, try to vex him in some way." Then Warrington said, "Roughbeard, I admire the things that you say. I bid thee ride to Gamewell Manor, friend, with them and me. I'd love for thee to teach this lad thy skills at archery." Then Robin's eyebrows rose. He knew what brigand wore the beard, and George of Gamewell now would host his foe and wish him cheer. The lad approached the sheriff once again with flashing eyes. The sheriff said, "O marksman Robin Locksley, take thy prize. I yield my golden arrow to thy hand with greatest pleasure. The trophy to the victor. Go and wisely use this treasure." The heralds blew their horns, and Rita, by her father's side, held out a silken cushion to the boy, whose grin was wide. The shining arrow now was his. He bent upon his knee, and held the gleaming trophy up for all the crowd to see. And as they cried, the sheriff whispered, "Think on this, my boy. This bauble is well suited for a lady to enjoy." He moved his eyes to indicate his daughter next to them, as if to say, "This pretty maid should wear that pretty gem." But Robin had another worthy maiden on his mind. He looked the sheriff in the eye and left his box behind. He paced around the ring, the arrow shining in his hand, but at the seat of Maiden Fitzwalter he took his stand. "Milady," Robin stammered as he bowed before the girl. Her eyebrows rose, and modestly she bobbed her pretty curls. "Accept this little arrow, which I won for thee today. Perhaps it could adorn thy hair," was all the lad could say. The girl, who saw her father give consent, took up the dart, and at her touch the boy felt velvet arrows pierce his heart. He blushed to see her face so close, and trembled where he stood. The maiden smiled and said, "I thank thee, Robin of the Hood. I'll wear this gift in memory of thee and of this fair." With that she gave a roguish little toss of her dark hair. Her eyes of blue looked frankly into Robin's for a spell, but then her lashes closed, and Robin's heart began to swell. His face aglow, he strode to where the archer stood and paused. The people cheered his damsel with a thunderous applause. "Well chosen, Locksley!" roared the outlaw, whooping like the crowd. He only saw the sheriff's face was grim, and Robin's proud. The sheriff watched with fury. Could this archer be so cold? He didn't even thank him for that prize of precious gold. He would have spoken up, except his daughter shook her head. Her chilling gaze forewarned him that no further words be said. But otherwise she tried to hide the anger in her heart. Her leafy crown was worthless now without that gleaming dart. The black-haired girl, however, twirled her arrow thoughtfully. The gift in hand, she wondered who this Locksley lad might be. Thank you. Chapter 10 is called The Attack of the Stag, but that'll be for next time, so I hope you enjoyed this and to come again next Tuesday for more of the life of Robin Hood. Also, I have a website now, so let me pull that up. Where did I put it? My website is venatoverba.com, so you can come see me for that. And if you want to get access to my other poems and this work and see it early, you can come see me at there, or you can try to look at that and write it down real quick. So, thank you so much.